Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. From the Channel 9 studio, this is Sports Chat with Mr. 33. I am he, Mr. 33. And we are winding down in this 2025-2026 NBA season, as well as the college basketball season. So there's a lot of basketball to talk about, but we're going to start with the professionals. We're going to start in the NBA with some scores and some stats. Uh, Everybody that's tuning in, welcome in. So let's just go right into the scores that we have already in established. There's one game in progress. That is the Golden State Warriors visiting the Denver Nuggets. But we will start with all the finale games. Let's start with the game in Milwaukee with the Milwaukee Bucks hosting the LA Clippers. The Clippers get the 127 to 113 win. We'll look at some stats on this night since it's NBA recap. So we'll go some stats. Excuse me. Welcome in. I'm not looking at the chat, so bear with me. Uh, we see Gary Trent led the Bucks with 36 points, and Ben Mathurin led the Clippers with 28. But we'll go ahead and look this up. Kawhi had 20 points on 8 of 16 shooting with 8 rebounds. Uh, John Collins gave him 22 points. Derek Jones and Darius Garland gave him 15 and 13 respectively. Darius Garland had added 15 and 11, and Derek Jones had 13 points. So that means that Benedict Mathurin was the lead scorer coming off the bench, and Chris Dunn gave them 10 points from the bench squad. For Milwaukee, uh, you see Gary Trent had 36, uh, 36 and 4. Andre Jackson had 13. Nobody else is going to help them. They sat Giannis out for the rest of the season, or they trying to sit him out for the rest of the season. There's a big dispute behind all of that. From the bench, you had Torian Prince with 18, Cormac Ryan with 13, and AJ Green with 15. Like I said, nothing. Bobby Porter didn't even play. Yeah, he didn't play. So with this win, the the Clippers go to 39 and 36, and with the loss, the Bucks go to 29 and 45. Elsewhere in the NBA, as soon as it pops back up, in in Miami, well, excuse me, in Indy, the Pacers host the Heat. The Pacers get the 135 to 118 win. Tyler Hero led Miami with 31. Pascal Siakam, Pascal Siakam led the Pacers with 30. Well, we'll start with the visitors. Everybody on the starting lineups had double digits. Uh, Tyler Hero, as I said, had 31. Uh, Pele Lawson and Andrew Wiggins had 15 respectively, as well as Bam Adebayo, who was 6 of 16, and Davion Mitchell had 12. And from the bench, you had Jaime Jaquez with 17. The Pacers consisted of you had 30 from Siakam, 15 from Nimhard, and 10 from Quentin Jackson. From their bench, you had Kobe Brown with 18, Micah Potter 21, and Obi Toppin with 12. So with this win, the Pacers go to 17 and 58. With the loss, Miami goes to 39 and 36. Um, Also in the NBA, we had the Raptors 139, Orlando 87. The Raptors with the win go to 42 and 32. With the loss, Orlando is 39-35. I swear I just said this about Miami. But that's just going to show you how close the 6 through 10 is in the Eastern Conference. Desmond Bain had 17 and R.J. Barrett had 24. Scotty Barnes had 15 assists. Total had 7 rebounds. Banchero only had 5 rebounds, and Jalen Suggs had 5 assists. But looking deeper into the stats, Paulo Banchero only was shooting 3 of 14 for the night. That's why he only had 9. Uh, Jalen Suggs added 13. Tristan Da Silva added 12. And from the bench, they only had Jett Howard close to 10 points with 9 points. Now we understand why they lost. For the Raptors, though, we got everybody in double figures. R.J. Barrett, Scotty Barnes with 23. Jamal Shead with 12. Jacoby Walter with 11. Coming off the bench, Sandro Masculavilli had 19 coming off the bench. Grady Dick had 11. A.J. Lawson had 14. That led the team to a victory. And like I said, with this victory, the Raptors are getting closer to clinching a playoff spot with 42-32, and the Magic with the losses 39-35. Elsewhere in the NBA, welcome in those that's in the chat. This is NBA recap given to you by Sports Chat with Mr. 33. I am he, Mr. 33. I'm not looking at the chat, but I'm saying welcome anyhow as I give you scores and stats from NBA Sunday. In Brooklyn, the Nets 116, the Kings 99. Everybody gets their stats checked today because it's recap Sunday. So even the Nets, who were not worthy with the win, they go to 18-57. With the loss, Sacramento drops to 19-57. Agabaji led Brooklyn with 18. Terare had 6 assists, and Sarif had 8 rebounds. Precious Achiuwa had 8 rebounds, and Hayes had 7 assists. Let's look at the stats. We got Precious Achiuwa with 16 and 8. Devin Carter with 20 and 8. Nick Clifford had 17 and 7 rebounds. And from their bench, you got Doug McDermott with 12 and Daquan Jeffries with 14. For Brooklyn, you have Noah Clowney with 15. Drake Powell with 16. Nick Claxton with 10. And from their bench, they got Ochai. He led the entire team. OG Agbaji with 18 points and 1 rebound. So, that this score is just a recap. It don't affect playoff standards as both teams have been eliminated from playoff contention. And we have Boston visiting Charlotte. Boston with the 114-99 win. Going to their stats. Jason Tatum led Boston with 32 and 8. And Quetta had 8 rebounds for the Hornets. Lonzo. LaMelo had 19 points. James had 4 assists, and Miller had 6 rebounds. But Jason Tatum shot 12 of 23 for the 32 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists. Quetta had 17 and 8. Peyton Pritchard had 28 points, and leading the bench was whom? Scheiderman with 14 coming off the bench, shooting 4 of 11. For the Hornets, we had LaMelo with 19, Brandon Miller with 13, Miles Bridges with 14, Colin Knipple, he had 5 of 13 shooting, but he had 13 points. And from the bench, you had Zion James with 11, Kobe White with 11, and Liam McNeely with 10. But with the win, the Celtics go to 50-24. They have clinched the playoff spot, and Charlotte goes to 39-36 with the loss. Uh, Sunday recap, Sunday on Sports Chat with Mr. 33, as I go through the scores and the highlights once again. We'll go to Portland. Portland 123. The Wizards 88. With the win, Portland gets to 500 at 38-38. With the loss, the Wizards go to 17-57. We see the Wizards' leading scorer was 14. He came off the bench. Will Riley. He had Bud Carrington and Vucevic in double figures with him from the starting lineup, and Justin Champagnie and Sharif Cooper with 10 off the bench. For Portland, we have Avdija with 20 points, Kamara with 23, Scoot Henderson with 21, Drew Holiday with 11. And from their bench, they have Matisse Thybulle with 10 off the bench. With that, like I said, with that win, Portland gets to 500. Tough year for the Wizards at 17-57. Houston 134, the Pelicans 102. Houston go to 45-29 with the victory, a much needed victory, as they try to stay in the middle of the pack in the Western Conference. With the loss, the Pelicans go to 25-51. Tough year for them, even though Zion Williamson is playing some good ball. I don't even know if he played tonight. We got Sengun with 36 and 13, 7 assists. Got Kevin Durant with 20 and 7, 16 shooting. Jabari Smith added 20 as well. And Amen Thompson with 14. From the bench, you had Tari Eason with 15 to lead the bench squad. And for the Pelicans, we got who? Zion did play tonight. He had 18 points. Sadiq Bey had 18. DeJounte Murray led the team with 19 points and 6 assists. Herbert Jones added 10. For the bench, you had Derek Queen with 13. Jeremiah Fears with 12. And that's all of the double-digit scoring. But like I said, it's a much-needed win for the Nuggets, who go to, the Rockets, who go to 45-29. A few more scores in the NBA. I think we got the Knicks and Thunder final. The Knicks lose the game 100-111 against the Oklahoma City Thunder, who was rolling. With that win, they get to 50-16. With the loss, the Knicks go to 48-27. Jalen Brunson led the Knicks with 32. SGA continuing his consecutive 20-game streaks with 30 points. For the Knicks, you had OG Anunoby. Well, the starting five for the Knicks had double figures, all of them. Followed by Karl Anthony Towns, Josh Hart with 15 apiece, with Mikal Bridges at 15, and OG Anunoby with 10. The bench, you only had 8 points from Jose Alvarado. If I'm reading this right, there's 8 for Alvarado, 3 for Mitchell Robinson, and 2 for Jordan Clarkson. Ain't nobody else scored from the bench, which is probably why they lost the game. And then for the Thunder, you got SGA with his 30. You got Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams had 22, shooting 11 and 7 of 11. Chet Holmgren had 16. Lou Dort had 12. Hartenstein had 6 and 6 and 13, and from the bench there was no double digit scorer. Excuse me, from the bench you had AJ Mitchell with 8 coming off the bench, and we have the active game that's going right now uh, between the Nuggets, who are hosting the Warriors, and with 2:41 to go, you have 74-69. The Nuggets are up by 5. So let's go to the standings real quick. So that way you can see what's happening, especially in the Eastern Conference. Even though this game does have playoff implications, uh, as you can see, the top six is Detroit, Boston, New York, Cleveland, Toronto, and Atlanta. Now, if you look at Atlanta and if you look at Toronto, they're tied. They're Atlanta. They have 42 wins, but the Hawks have 33 losses. Then right under them, you got Philadelphia, Orlando, Miami, and Charlotte. All of those, well, the 8, 9, and 10 spot has 39 wins. Uh, they are only separated by half a game in the loss column, and Philly is a half a game back from the sixth spot. So you see, as we getting ready to hit April by the end of the week or the middle of the week, you see there's not that many games to go, but you see how close it is in the Eastern Conference. Now let's look at the Western Conference. You got the Thunder, who has a 2.5 game lead on the Spurs. Then you got the Lakers, the Nuggets, and the T-Wolves and the Rockets, who are both coincidentally at 45 and 29. So they're the 1 through 6. Now you got the Suns, who are 41 and 33. The Clippers with a huge win tonight to stay at the 8 seed. Uh, Portland getting the 500 is the 9 seed, and Golden State is at 36 and 38. So with about 3 weeks ago, if these was to start today, the Suns would play the Clippers as the playing team, 7 and 8, and Portland will be playing Golden State for the right to get to the playoffs. The loser of the 7 and 8 seed, the loser of the 7 and 8 seed will play the winner of the 9 and 10 seed. That's how that goes. So if the Clippers were to beat the Suns, the Clippers would be the 7th seed. The Suns would have to play the winners of the Trailblazers and the Warriors. That's how it goes in both conferences. And so it may sound messy, yet at the same time, you still have to play basketball, and those games will be before the actual playoff games. So in this case, the Oklahoma City Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs will have to wait for these games to exist. I mean, to play, so they would know who they're playing in their first round bid. The Lakers will be playing the 6th seed, and Denver will play the 5 seed, which would be the T-Wolves. So it'd be the Lakers and Rockets if it was today, and the Nuggets hosting the Timberwolves. It's like in the Eastern Conference. The Knicks will be facing the Hawks, and the Cavs will be playing the Raptors if everything was today. And it's the same way in the playing circumstances. So this is why we watch the games. This is why, we stay glued to it, because we understand how close a lot of those standings are. And every weekend or every Sunday, as you can see, if you watched last week, you see some things shuffle up. We remember the Hawks was probably at the 8 seed last. I think they was the 8 seed last Sunday, and now they won. They playing some good basketball. They jumped out of the play-in realm to be a 6 seed. But it's about, I'ma just say, approximately 7 games to go, 8 games to go, because most teams is like at 60, 76, 74, 76 games, things like that. So those games, like I said, we have, basketball is going to slow up because they're close to the finish line, and then we have to wait for the playing situation to know who the 1 and 2 seeds are going to play in the in the NBA playoffs. Now we can go ahead and look at the brackets for the Final Four. The Final Four is set in the men's college basketball. It is set. We had an exciting game today. Uh, Duke with a half court shot against them lost to the Yukon Huskies 73-72 to advance to the Final Four. Uh, Today they will be playing the Illinois Fighting Illini as they came back and handled business against their Big Ten foe Iowa. Michigan will be facing Arizona as Arizona handled business today to beat the Purdue Boilermakers. So the Final Four is set. But like I said, the Arizona Cardinals will be playing the number one seed Michigan Wolverines. That'll be the second game. You know sometimes these games go longer than scheduled. It starts approximately at 8:50, but it's definitely going to start after the Yukon and Illinois game. I'm going to go out on a limb early. I'm going to say I'm going to say Arizona and Yukon. Arizona has been playing outstanding basketball. You know, they haven't really, I don't want to say broken a sweat, but if you look at the brackets, right? Let's just look at it. Let's look at Arizona's start. They beat LIU. Excuse me, they handled Utah State and they handled Arkansas. And then they handled Purdue to get to the Final Four. And Michigan, they had they had some blowout games too. They beat Howard, they beat St. Louis, they handled Alabama, and they handled Tennessee. But Arizona have been playing outstanding basketball all season. Now Michigan was one of those teams that they was in the top five for most of the season. Arizona definitely was the other team that was in the top five. So this is going to be a must see game. I just think that Arizona has enough to win against Michigan. Now, UConn and Illinois, I may have recency bias, right? Because I'm gonna go with UConn. They from the Big East. I'm from New York. We rock with the Big East. For the most part, that's the major conference in the city. We got the NEC, we got all of those other things, but New York is known for the Big East tournament, and the fact that Connecticut has been busting they hump all season. They was denied a number one seed because they lost to St. John's in the Big East tournament, but since coming into this tournament, they had a tough game against Furman. They handled UCLA. They had a nail biter against Michigan State to get to Duke. And like I said, that final shot, they was down by 19 in this game. I don't think people understand this. They was down 19 in the second half and came all the way back to win by one. So, you know, it's hard to go against UConn, even though Illinois they had a run. They had a nice little run. They beat the 11 seed VCU after beating Penn. Uh, they shocked the 2 seed, the Houston Cougars, and then like I said, they beat their Big Ten foe. So it's not to say that Illinois doesn't have a chance. I just think that the coaching has a lot to do with this tournament, and the fact that I don't really know the Illinois coach, but Dan Hurley is a two-time champion. He's trying to do what the Las Vegas Aces did, win 3 championships in 4 years. I don't know if he'll do it, but I think his coaching will get him to the national championship. So I'm going UConn versus Arizona for the men. Um, just because I've seen enough of UConn, and I think UConn can do some things. They had a terrible shooting day today, but I don't think they'll go like 2 of 20 from the 3-point land against Illinois. And the center Reed Jr. He's making an impact. He's a raw talent in my eyes. He reminds me of he he's not as dominant as Shaq. He just his presence in the post could be like Shaq. Not to dominate. He's not dominate. He's not dominant. He doesn't have the. He's a raw talent. He don't have the foot skills. He don't have those type of attributes. But he is a thorn in that paint. So I think he gonna have a huge like. He might get a double double, like maybe 10 and 15 or 10 and 17. He's gonna make his presence felt, and that's gonna open up the shooting for a lot of the UConn swing set, the swingmen. Uh, but I got Arizona versus UConn heading to the national championship because you know I won't be on this Friday and Sunday because I'll be traveling, taking care of family issues and personal issues and things like that. So I won't be able to give that to you at that time. So I'm giving it to you now because I know what's set for the men's national championship or the final four for the men's tournament. Now, while I look at the females tournament, uh, as I let that load up, we see half of the final four has been set already. We see UConn uh, continue to show their dominance. They're waiting for the winner of South Carolina versus TCU. Uh, and we got UCLA waiting for Texas versus Michigan. Now, I'm going with Texas because of their inside game with a young lady by I call her Miss Booker because she's booking them in that post. She has played outstanding basketball, and the team goes as far as she goes. I think she's gonna have a great game, and it's hard to go against Dawn Staley, but Olivia Miles, she's playing a lot of basketball. I just saw Hannah Hidalgo, her former teammate at Notre Dame. She had a great game, but it wasn't enough to defeat UConn, and I think that's what's going to happen with TCU. I think South Carolina is just a little too much for TCU, so I'm going South Carolina and I'm going Texas, and I think they will join. Uh, so it will be South Carolina versus UConn. That's a tough pick. But I'm going with UConn because right now, everybody they played, they defeated. I want to see another perfect season, and I think UConn can give it to us. So I'm going with UConn, and I'm gonna go with UCLA because Laura Betts is she may have an impact against Miss Booker in Texas because she's just as dominant in that post as Miss Booker, and she plays some defense. So I'm gonna go UCLA, UConn, and I'm going with UConn to win it all. I am, and like I said, I'm giving this to you guys now because I won't be on after Monday to give this to you, but I'll probably do this again tomorrow because I can there'll be an official game or official Final Four stats. But if it's the same, I probably won't speak on it. Now, if Kentucky win, well, excuse me, I said Kentucky. If Michigan win, I would have to reevaluate. But I don't see if TCU wins, I'm still going with UConn. It wouldn't even matter. But if Michigan plays, I think they could match UCLA a little bit better than Texas can. So, even though Michigan is a 2 seed, I just think they would have a better matchup than Michigan. So I'm just going UCLA, UConn in the national championship as of right now. Uh, and it's hard to go against Dawn Staley. You know, but Gino is like I said, Gino. I just want to see the undefeated streak. They ain't lost a game, I know there's a first time for everything, but I just want to see if they can go undefeated for an entire season. UConn men lost their game today, so no, I'm fine. UConn won. They won the Final Four. I'm tripping. I'm sorry, y'all. They won the Final Four. So will this be a UConn Final Four repeat like a couple years ago? We'll find out. But UConn is representing for both the men and the women, and I think the women is going to win it all. And it's tough to go against the UConn women. So I'm just picking them, like I said, for that reason. And we will have final results Monday for the Sunday night for the men for the ladies, and Monday night for the men. Um, so while I'm here, I might as well preview what's going to happen tomorrow night on Raw. Uh, Raw has three matches lined up. Two is for the tag team championships. The Usos will be facing Logan Paul, the Vision in a street fight for the tag team championship. Uh, Nia Jackson, Lash Legend, the Irresistible Force will be facing Bailey and Lala Vicaria for the tag team championship, and Io Sky will be fighting Raquel Rodriguez. I think the Irresistible Forces will win. I think the Usos. I think the Usos will hold on. I think they'll retain. I don't see them losing per se, but I do see a lot of changes going on with Jay. He needs to calm himself down, but he might do something to you know to seal a victory, like I don't know, brass knuckles, or hit one of the guys with the chair. That's not a Uso way to win, but I could see that happening for him to. It'll fit the way he's been acting for the past couple weeks, and I think I think Raquel should win, but I think Stephanie Valkyrie is going to get involved because Liv is going to be around to Raquel's corner, and Raquel's going to be distracted worrying about Liv, and I think she'll lose to Io. There may be more matches coming up, but in the meantime, those are the matches that are set. It's also documented that CM Punk and Roman Reigns will be in the building. We're gonna find out how Punk is doing after get thrown through a table. Brock is supposed to appear. He probably have something to say about being clotheslined out the ring by Obafemi, and Penta may be having an open challenge for the Intercontinental belt uh, on Monday as well. But those are the three matches that they have set for tomorrow. We will be covering and recapping those matches and anything that happens on Monday Night Raw as well. Um, and that's pretty much it. We got baseball going on. Uh, check the post as I start to post the records for the season. We're technically only 3 games in. Uh, Matter of fact, I can look at that right now. Which one am I on? Let me go to MLB. I can look at it right now, just to give y'all stats or standings for baseball, because I'm not doing anything else. Uh, it's after 12, so they have schedules already for games tomorrow. They're on the left. They're on the left hand side. Let's see the schedule for the. Let's see the schedule real quick. Wow, you got. Oh, they got the West Coast games on the bottom. You got Pittsburgh versus Cincinnati. You got Philadelphia hosting the National in the NL East game. Chicago White Sox is heading to Miami. Miami's 3-0. Didn't know that. Toronto is 3-0, hosting the Rockies. The Braves are hosting the Athletics. The Cubs are hosting the Anaheim Angels. Uh, the Brewers is hosting the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. The Cardinals host the Mets. The Astros host the Red Sox. The Giants are going down to San Diego. The Yankees are in Seattle to play the Mariners. The Yankees are 3-0. Detroit is going to Arizona. And the champs, the Los Angeles Dodgers, will be hosting the Cleveland Guardians. That's all. That's all. Tonight. Yes, tonight. Standing. Let's look at the standing. I know we just saw that the Yankees are 3-0. Toronto's 3-0. Uh, the Marlins are 3-0, and Milwaukee's 3-0, as well as the champs, the Dodgers. Who's 4-0? I swore I saw 4-0 somewhere. I thought I said 4-0, but maybe I misread it. But that's the standings in the American League, respectfully, and the National League. And like I said, this was opening weekend. The Yankees opened the season Wednesday, and then we got to the 3-game finales this weekend, and those are the standings for the weekend. So as you can see, it's still early in the game, but we are willing to give standings and highlight the standings for baseball, give you stats and standings for the basketball. As we are trying to grow, we want you to have the experience of just seeing the records, understanding hopefully what we're talking about as far as the records and the standings and things of that nature. Where we are preparing ourselves for the NFL season, and we are willing to have a fantasy league in for the NFL this year. We're putting that out there now. So if you want to join or anything, just leave a comment on the community wall, and we can add your name to the list. And we would have to find a way to contact you, like social media, like Instagram or something like that, so you can get the link and do things like that. So we can, you can send what you gonna send us, your starting teams and things like that for the fantasy league. It's free. There's no money involved with it or anything of that nature. We just want to, like I said, we're just building things. We all have a concept that we know what we're talking about. So now it's time for us to put it on display. And an NFL fantasy league is the best way for us to show if we actually know what we're talking about in those situations. So it's early. We're getting ready to hit April. We didn't hit the draft yet, but we're putting it out there that this Channel 9 Studios, is going to have. We're trying to have an NFL fantasy league. If you're willing, like I said, if you're willing to join, come through and join. Now tonight's stats and highlights was brought to you by the 9%, where the better you is the better us. Well, we gave you baseball standings, we gave you basketball standings and seedings, as well as basketball scores. That was brought to you by the 9%. Once again, shout out to them for sponsoring the show and allowing us to take the time to giving us the scores and the stats and things like that. So we will be back. We'll be back tomorrow night. Like I said, once again, we'll be talking about. We'll be recapping WWE. We will do some more scores. Maybe not the stats of the NBA, but there are definitely going to be some basketball games tomorrow. If I look at the schedule right now for tomorrow, even though Golden Golden State is down 15 in the fourth quarter. We have one, two, three, four. We got 8 games. Uh, the national game is going to be the Detroit Pistons going to Oklahoma City to play the Thunder. And who else? It's another game on before that. The Bulls be playing the Spurs. That's on Peacock. And Miami and Philadelphia. That's the 7 o'clock game. They'll be on Peacock. So there's 8 games, and 3 of them will be on NBC or Peacock. Check your your local channels and listings for that. Uh, it's not really a must see besides the Pistons and Thunder as they represent their number one seeds in their respective conferences. There is no Kate Cunningham as he's still nursing his punctured lung. Hope he gets well and come back soon. You know, he drives that piston engine, even though they're winning without him right now. But no, it's very rare that you see a team without their star go far without him. So that's a rare thing. Boston and Atlanta may be something to intrigue at as Atlanta trying to keep their 6 seed secure and so they don't have to play the play in. But yeah, that's just the gist of it. And then we have the 2 games in the women's bracket to solidify their final four. We will discuss that a little bit as well. So, and whatever other topic comes up in the world of sports, we will have those conversations tomorrow. You know, so with that being said, I'm gonna close it out tonight. Thank you for those that was in the bushes listening to the conversation. We appreciate you tuning in. Hope you got to understand what we were speaking about as far as the NBA, the men's and women bracket, as well as the Major League Baseball standings. Uh, we hope to hear from you guys again. We'll be back in 23 hours approximately. With that being said, from the Channel 9 studio, this is Mr. 33 signing out. I'll see you in 23.